I have a really crazy one for this video. I essentially lost $140,000. Now, granted, this was back in 2019, but it is by far my absolute craziest entrepreneurship story. And I really don't like to tell it at all because it's a little embarrassing. But to be honest, this journey and this story I'm about to tell really helped me be me and get to the point that I'm at now. It is a humongous part of my journey. So I figured why not tell it, especially if you can help somebody else. So guys, strap in, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the story. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know my biggest store was the bunny care. At the time of us running the store, we grew it to over 100,000 followers organically. We scaled up to about $250,000 in just under 4 months. We were like an absolute viral sensation. We couldn't stay off the For You page. We got featured by In the Know magazine. Like, we had multiple videos with tens of thousands of views. We had a few with 1 million views, and all of our ads combined probably had over 20 million views. This store was the biggest success I had ever had in my life. I had spent 4 years prior to running this store being terrible at e-commerce. Like, I was so bad, I just sucked all the way around. And this store was my big breakthrough. This store was like the store. It was like, okay, this is finally where I want to be. Like, I'm finally here and this is the spot. Everything is going well, at least you would think. Our secret weapon to running the store was just content marketing. We did two very powerful things, and they were micro influencers and in-product studio shoots. So you'll see them even if you go to the Instagram page now, it's still up. You'll see us doing both. And the entire strategy is UGC. So the agency that I run now, we basically produce and make those creatives, but it's the exact same thing that worked for us back then. We take products inside of a studio, we grab a group of actors and have them film content. That way, in about a day's work, we're able to get about 15 to 30 pieces of content, at least in my agency now, and it was very similar back then. And we used to also send our products over to UGC influencers. So the micro influencers I was telling you about, typically they would have anywhere from, I would say, 10,000 to about 50,000 followers. But we even work with accounts that had as little as like 500, 300. You know, it didn't really matter as long as we felt like you could make an aesthetically pleasing video or like take good content with our product. We send it to you. So we leverage both of those two. It got to the point where we were working with those pages and meme pages. We worked with like over 100 a day. Like, we scaled up that high because we would take the content we were getting from UGC creators and then like the in-studio products, make ads, and then run those ads on meme pages. And that was our entire content strategy. We were literally printing out money for a very long time, but it sucked. And the truth is, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Me and my buddy Alex at the time, we ran that store together, and we were good at two things: marketing and sales. I was good at marketing, Alex was good at sales. But if you know anything about business is so much more than just marketing and sales. We didn't know a damn thing about logistics, about operations, about how to manage a profit and loss sheet. Like, we didn't know anything. It got to the point where sales actually became a problem. Like, we were actually making too many sales because we started, after we white labeled our product, we just ordered the first 3,000 units and we didn't know if they were necessarily going to sell or not. But once we white labeled them, that's when everything started selling. So we didn't know anything about email marketing or necessarily like customer communication, like things that I know now. They're second nature now. But at the time, it was like, oh my God, we just only have 3,000 pins, but we just got 4,000 orders. And I don't know where the extra thousand product is going to come from, because it's going to take them 2 months to get delivered from China. And we didn't think we were going to sell out this fast. So it became just a ridiculously crazy headache. And it took me out of the thing that I actually cared about a lot. Like, the thing I actually enjoyed doing was marketing. But I wasn't marketing anymore. I was actually running a business. And at the time, I thought that's what I wanted. It's what I thought I had spent 4 years wanting to do. But then once I got there, I was like, man, I actually hate this. So I'm getting up, making more money than I've ever made in my life. Like, I've never seen that much money in my life. And I actually hated doing it. So we made a really big decision. we decided to go ahead and sell the store. The store had become a really, really big headache, but it had a lot of potential. We had tons of Facebook pixel data. We had tons of raving customers on our Instagram and like social media accounts. But truthfully, we were very, very aware that we are either going to shit the bed with this store or we're just not going to know what to do with it. And our best option was just to go ahead and sell the store. Selling a store is a very, very long process. It was super duper emotional. We vetted out so many different buyers, but we eventually found one buyer. This was like the ideal perfect buyer. They offered us $140,000 for the store. We were like, absolutely. Like, you know, I was a broke college kid before running this store, and I guess I didn't necessarily need money at the time, but if you offered to give me 6 figures, like, you bet your ass 10 times out of 10 I'm taking the money. So we set everything up. We were on multiple calls. We like corresponded back and forth between emails. Like, we did a ton of talking between like the legal deals and the transfer stuff, and essentially how everything in the store was going to work. We went through all of it. And before I knew it, the biggest check I had ever seen in my life was in the mail. I didn't really know what to do. I kind of just screamed and ran around my room. I cried. I was just so happy. Like, $140,000 check was in the mail. So I go to my bank and I go to cash it. And then I look and I check like my banking app. And there's, sure enough, $140,000 extra dollars sitting in my bank account. I seriously didn't know what to do. I ran up to my mom. I was like, yo, quit your job. Like, we made it. Everything's good. We're about to go live a high life somewhere. My bank called me and they said, hey, we put a freeze on your account. To me, I was like, okay, I kind of expected that. I literally just cashed a 6-figure check and I've never had that much money in my bank account before. I'm sure they think I stole it. The deal we worked out with the person who bought the store, they were going to send us $140,000. We were supposed to send $10,000 to the marketing team. How it made sense at the time was they had an owner, like the person who actually bought the store. That was one person. But then the person who actually did the deal, the person I was corresponding with and doing everything, that person told me, I'm going to have an investor write out the check, but he doesn't really want to deal with the ins and outs of the store. All he's going to do is just write you the entire check. You send $10,000 to our marketing team. That's how we're gonna like actually run the ads of the store. We talked about like the vision of the store, his plans to do everything in the future. Like, it made a lot of sense. And again, $140,000, $130,000 in my bank account. I don't care what you need me to do. Like, bro, do I need to, like, I don't know, run over a baby cat? Like, I don't care. Like, if you're gonna give me that much money, seriously, just tell me what you need me to do and I'll do it. This entire process turned into a 3-week-long investigation. My bank is calling me back and forth. They're asking me, where did you get the money from? They're asking me to send the emails corresponding everything. And I told them exactly what I just told you. It's a very, very simple story. I sold my e-commerce store. The valuation of the store was actually a little bit higher than this price. So like, I actually gave them a good deal. Like, I sent my bank everything and they kept my account on froze. So it was a terrible process because I'm looking at my bank account and I'm seeing the money, but I can't touch the money. Like, it's $140,000, sure, but the money I was so happy about, now I can't touch it. Because of that, we turned all of our ads off. Like, in our head, the store was sold. We're just waiting for the money to clear. Turns out the money was actually never gonna clear. The lady who was over my case, we had been talking again throughout that entire process. I forget exactly how long it was. I said 3 weeks, but it might have been a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. She calls me, and this is the last conversation we had. She says, Mr. Cam, the check that you got apparently was forged. Someone stole the checkbook of the person whose money, like, the account came out of. They put your name on the check, and if you would have sent the $10,000 to their marketing team or whoever that was, you would have been responsible for paying that money back because you technically spent money that quote unquote wasn't yours. So I am beyond confused. I am like on the phone, hurt, scared, afraid. Like, what the hell are you talking about, lady? Like, I'm looking at the money. There's $140,000 in my bank account. I showed you all of the emails. I showed you all of the receipts, every correspondence we had. She said, sir, I know. I truthfully believe that you didn't know what happened, but this was essentially a scam. We're going to have to refund the entire check back to the person who this bank account's money was stolen from. I was kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, we don't need to send any refunds. No. I'll just hold on to the money. What ended up happening was my bank not only closed my bank, but I can now no longer do like any transactions. I cannot open up an account with that bank anymore. They basically blocked me because they said I participated in a Ponzi scheme or someone trying to like scam me, but my bank blocked me from it. You guys have to realize I was already at my emotional breaking point. The store was already super stressful. Going through this entire process of finding a buyer was extremely stressful. Looking at money in my bank account that I could not spend was the last straw that I had. It was literally the straw that broke the camel's back, and I was just done. I went into a very dark place of like depression and not even wanting to be an entrepreneur in my entire life. The only thing I could ever think about was running businesses. It was a very, very low, it was a very, very sad time because I went from having as much money as I ever had before to not even wanting to run businesses anymore because I was so sick and tired of having to deal with everything I didn't want to deal with. Again, that was in 2019. It really set me up for success because I don't want to make this video about, you know, my entire life up until now. Let me know if you want to see a video like that. But essentially what happened was I was heartbroken over that store, and I took several months just to try to recover. I actually went and got a real job, went and finished college. Now, granted, in between that time, I was running different businesses, but they weren't really in the e-commerce space anymore. I was so tired of running e-commerce stores, but the funny nuance is that I had a really, really good marketing eye for what worked in e-commerce because I spent 4 years trying to actually do it. I had a really great successful store, and then I had a few smaller stores, none with like that crazy results, but I understand e-commerce very, very well. I just didn't really want to be an entrepreneur, at least not full time. Which fast forwards me now into the agency life that I'm in. I run an agency now. And what we actually do is the one thing that I felt like I did really, 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 really well in that store, and that's making high performance ad creatives. I was telling you guys earlier about like how content marketing was our secret. Looking back on that store, 4 years now, I cannot believe how much time has passed. The one thing that I truly feel like is like my absolute calling, at least in like the digital workspace, is making high performance ad creatives. It was the one thing in business that I've always felt like I'm really, really good at, and it's what I do full time now. I run a creative agency, and all we do is make ad creatives all day. I'm writing scripts, I'm marketing. I am literally having the most fun I feel like I've ever had being an entrepreneur because I'm focused, like headset focused on the one thing that really, 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 really works whenever I do it. So I said all that to say that was a long and crazy story, but the worst thing that happened to me as far as my entrepreneurship journey set me up success for 4 years later for me to be doing the thing that I actually want to be doing. It's crazy how life works, guys. And if you are facing a very tough situation like that, it's fine. Keep working, keep going. It's literally gonna be okay. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching this video. Till next time. Peace.